The masculine runner is in the process of becoming a better version of themselves. They're in the process of developing self-mastery. They're also rebuilding. So there has been an ending, and what they're being guided to do is to reevaluate what has happened. So the karma card talks about the karmic lessons that the masculine runner had with their karmic or any relationship, right? Because we're learning, we have multiple experiences, and these lessons don't relate specifically to just the karmic, because everything is karma, everything is energy. We're here, we're learning. Third party, right? So take how it resonates. So then basically the relationship was built on a faulty foundation. There was this revelation that this relationship could no longer continue, and now the masculine is in the process of evaluating. But this time it's a different process. So they've been through this cycle many times, right? They've been questioning their decisions for a long time because they're constantly being pulled in a different direction because of the connection that they have with the feminine. But because they're non-committal and insecure, and they look at the feminine and see how amazing they are, and they're like, but I can't live up to that person's expectations. I'm not good enough. So it's their own fears and insecurities that prevent the connection. And then that's what calls them to go into the direction of the karmic. But then because the karmic relationship was built on a faulty foundation, because it was built on the program, right? So both of the masculine and the karmic were mirroring one another, and they were exchanging the energies based on their current understanding, based on their current their current awareness, their perspective, their perception of relationships. And so now it's like, okay, because they kept getting called in a different direction, this time they're starting to really realize, right? And then that's basically represented by the karmic card, which is also connected to the judgment. So this is about karmic retribution, taking a look over the course, of the past and being like, wow, this is what I experienced, and now I'm like, now I understand. But it's been a difficult process, because they've been thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and like they're feeling kind of, they're depressed, they're sad, they're lonely, because now they're not in a relationship, because they're in the beginning stages of building their own foundation, but a foundation with them. So these two cards together really talk about manifestation, because this is about the idea. So it's like sitting down and writing out your goals and your plans and organizing and coming up with like something that's going to be tangible, that's actually going to get you to where you want to go. And where do they want to go? They want to go towards the feminine. That's where they want to go. They want the relationship. But the thing is do they feel good enough? So this is about them building their confidence and getting their energy up, because like they've been depressed. And so it's like they don't want to contact the feminine when they've been depressed. They want to contact the feminine when they're feeling confident. And that's why there's been no communication. That's why there's been a blockage, right? Because the other thing too is they're afraid to be rejected, and they're afraid that it's going to result in, the outcome will result as to what happened in the past where there was conflict. And they just want something solid and stable and steady. So this is them wanting to make a love offering. But a lot of the reason why this hasn't come to pass is also because the feminine has to become receptive. So there's a part of the feminine that's still resentful, or that has lost hope, or yeah. So here's the commitment. And then there's the imbalance. Okay, so now the third party is coming out here. So the masculine wants this to end. They're tired of the narrative, they're tired of the drama, they're just done. Right? The karma, judgment, the masculine, the third party, but also the world. So because you have the world and the judgment together, like, this is very potent energy, because the judgment becomes before the world. This is the second last, and this is the last. So it's like they're still in the in-between. They haven't completely had that leap of faith. Or what's slowing the process down is the feminine is also playing a major role, and whether or not they want to admit it or not. A lot of the feminines always like the masculine. I'm waiting for them to get their shit together. You know, I'm waiting for them to contact me, da-da-da. But like, honestly, let's take an inventory, feminine. Let's take an inventory here. Because there's certain things that you're thinking that are creating, there's certain things that you're thinking. And what is this, right? So it's like, part of some feminines still have the fear that the masculine's going to show up the way they did in the past, that the relationship, like, that they're offering isn't authentic. And that is the reason why there's also a blockage. That's what's delaying the reconciliation. And this isn't to, blame the feminine. This is just to bring it to the feminine's attention that it's not just them. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Like, I am feeling lifted. I feel goosebumps, because it's like that acknowledgement that as the feminine, this divine being, that together we are lifting. But part of that is addressing. It's here, us working together, the Three of Pentacles. So this would be doing the work. And for me, this card represents, especially when paired with the Magician, this is about manifestation. So this could be also about doing shadow work, sitting down, writing out the positives and the negatives, the positive thoughts, the negative thoughts, taking an inventory, because the feminine has to change, because there's still part of them that doesn't feel worthy. There's still part of them that like, if the masculine, or when the masculine contacts them, if they don't actually do the work before they receive communication, then they could easily fall back into the old way. What was that? Codependency. That was them overgiving, not being receptive, not having faith, not trusting. So this is patience, slow and steady progress, having that conscious awareness, being focused on your purpose. The purpose is what's if out of everything that you could possibly do, like, the main lesson is trust, receive, and then purpose. Yeah, like molasses. That's a good imagery. I like that. But it's satisfying. I like to bake, so I'm envisioning, pouring the molasses out of the container and just seeing that smooth, slow. That's a really good, I should think about that when I'm racing. I'm going to think about that right now, because you guys know I talk really loud and la 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 and I'm blah 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 blah. But, and in some ways that takes a little bit more energy. So I need to learn how to tame. So the slow molasses. And I'm envisioning like a very dark molasses. And it's just like pouring over my body. And it's just like, and then it's like taking away all of the, that feels good. Yeah, rich and full. It feels really good to acknowledge that about the feminine, to know that you guys, you said very accurate. Yes, you agree about what the feminine needs to be doing. And okay, so my suggestion would be for those that are watching to sit down and write out the positives and the negatives. Take an honest inventory about where you're at. All right, then I want you to start, you need to prioritize your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. Mentally, are your thoughts racing? Are you ruminating? Are you obsessing? Okay, that's sort of the, now how can you switch that? So you're clear and focused, present in the moment, and just bring all of that back in. Settle in. Emotions. Identify how you feel emotionally, how your feelings are negatively, like the negative or the sadness or whatever behind the emotions. Where is it stemming from? It's likely that it's stemming from the thought. It's stemming from the thought of that the current situation is opposite of what you want. And so it's like, okay, now that I understand this, now I shifted back to, okay, what do I want? You want to feel secure, loved, content, peaceful, calm. Now, what can you do to nurture those words, to nurture those wants? Because words have energy. So what's causing the scattered thinking? Social media. Like, I can't stress this enough. Social media, like, I understand that, yes, it's part of our culture, but you guys, like, people need to really tone it down. Like, you don't need to check your phone every minute. Okay? You're good. You're good. And maybe you're not, yeah, so TV, that distraction, constantly noise in the background. Yeah, and then when you're not overstimulated by all this information, you have clarity, you feel calm, you're settled into the moment. It brings in these good feelings. So mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So you're going to physically move your body. How can you do this? You can go for a walk around the block. Maybe you're experiencing depression. Maybe it's very difficult for you to even leave the house. So what would you do? You would say, okay, all I have to do is do one circle. You got to just walk one circle around the block, and that's it. So you're just committing to one thing. And then what happens is then you get out there and you're like, oh, fresh air. I'm out of this stagnant room. I'm out of this like, and then you're feeling better. And then you want to do 2 walks or 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Yeah, blocks. I'm like circles. You're doing blocks. Laying flat on the ground. It's Savasana in yoga. That's what it's called. So you're just laying sprawled out flat on your back and just breathing. And then in like calming essential oils. Don't answer your phone, or don't answer your phone if your family member's calling and it's not important. You know, call them back. You don't always have to be accessible to them. A lot of times, even if you don't want to talk to them, you choose to talk to them because you want the distraction, even though you know that it's not for your good. Right? So you consciously know that when this person calls, that the conversation goes to, you know, complaining, but then you're like, but then that's also a coping mechanism. That's a distraction, because you're like, well, if I spend time talking with my friend, you know, they're my friend and I should be talking to them. They need me. And then it's just like the same story. Oh, so-and-so and so-and-so and so. So how is that helpful? It's just the little tiny adjustments. It's just one little decision. And then consistent. All right. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys found this reading helpful. Have faith. That's the word of the day. Faith. I am faithful.